Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is my very first knife build, and I've got to say I'm absolutely stoked with the results. A few people to thank. Mr. Fettuccilli, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Mate, from the first design that I showed on the Facebook page, you said that I had to change the whole style of the knife and give me a few pointers. I'm glad you said that, because I found that template months later, and it was absolutely horrible compared to the look of this one, and the style of it. It was absolutely rubbish. So thank you very much for your input. A massive thank you to Drew from South Downwaters Forge, mate. Without your the abundance of kindness that you showed me coming out to the forge, lending me your grinder, this would never have happened. All this here happened because of you, really. So a big thank you to you. I want to thank also Graham Wilson from the Queensland Metal Artisans Collective, QMAC, for donating me the saw blade. And I also want to thank Dane. I can't for the life of me remember your last name, but I wasn't gonna give that out anyway. Thank you very much for coming over and teaching me how to sharpen this thing. I may have sharpened it, but you coached me through it so well, and the results are just astounding. I'm absolutely stoked with the quality of blade that I've created here. It's just absolutely fantastic. So just to go over a few things, the blade was out of the saw blade. The handle is Marbel decking. It was just an offcut that we had at home. I know a few people saw the post on Facebook asking what I should use and if railway sleepers were going to be any good. I thank you all for your input. However, you did say put a little bit more money into it and buy some decent scales and whatnot, but for the knife, it's really cost me probably under 20 bucks to make this thing. So I wasn't going to go and you know, go all out on it. And I'm sort of glad I didn't, because it's all recycled stuff except for these the pins. They were bought at Aldi. It was $6 for 4 1 meter rods of this stuff. So I thought, you know what, that's cheap enough for me. Obviously the scales aren't stabilized, but they have beeswax on them. Thank you to Dane for that as well, for bringing over some beeswax. It's given it a really nice color, a deep color, and it's obviously protected it. It feels nice, very nice in the hand. I'm so happy with the shape of this handle, but I still haven't tested anything out on it yet, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to get any hot spots, but we'll see in due time. I'm going to do a bit of a test today, and we'll see how it performs. Now, I've cut up a lot of stuff at home. Well, not a lot of stuff, but some soft pine. I've done the paper test, and you'll see all that. I'll do a paper test at home, part of this video, so you'll get to see that. Really, the only thing that I was worried about aesthetically was the filing that I did there to chamfer this the ferro rod striker. I'm just really disappointed that I mucked that up, but it's an ugly knife. It is not the prettiest thing on earth. It's got grind marks all through it. It's bloody shiny, but you can see all the grind marks and all that sort of stuff in it. So I'm not too worried about it. Dane said that I had a really good convex edge on this thing. It is nice and consistent the whole way through. And I tell you what, I've been trying to sharpen my own knives for quite a while now, and I just have issues with it. But you know, Dane got me to practice on a couple of other knives, a kitchen knife and my Gerber, and then I worked my way up to this. And I tell you what, it's just stupid. It really is stupid. He said he was going to put a stupid edge on it, and he didn't. He got me to do it, and I did it, and I'm bloody rapt about it, to be quite honest. So what else can I tell you? The pins are just 8mm steel. The only other issue that I've got with the knife is I didn't have enough down here. I don't think I've got enough down there to stop it from slipping out of my hand if I'm hacking. I was told that the edge probably wouldn't be any good for hacking, but I'm going to give it a little bit of a try. I'm not going to go hard out just because of the thinness of the blade, but I'll give it a red hot go. Now, I did bring my bug out bag, as you can probably see in the car there, but I forgot that I took the paracord out of it. So I don't have a lanyard. However, I did bring my EDC kit, or my EDC bag, and I've put a Cobra weave over the carry handle. So I've got paracord. So that's why we do it, folks. That's why we have paracord watch bracelets and paracord stuff, because it's cordage. You've got it with you all the time. So yeah, just this little bit here. I would have loved to have made this a bit bigger, just so that there was something there to hold it in my hand on a chopping motion. I just love the feel of this thing. I just love it. Now, I have tested this on some soft wood at home, like I said, and I tell you what, it takes chunks, and that's just from not even hacking. That's just from pushing. So I'm just super stoked with it. So what I'll go over the design, why I chose this design, and why I made it like this. So obviously the pins, so I can have a lanyard hole. I was going to go for brass, but I couldn't really find any at Bunnings, and so that's just what I went with, and I'm happy with it. I may in the future araldite inside these two here, because they are metal and they do rust, so I may fill those up and just leave that one for the lanyard. The reason why the blade is so fat is because I wanted as much weight on the blade as I could without it being super fat and super big, just because it's a thin blade and I wanted as much weight in it as I could if I was going to be chopping and whatnot. The sweep down the front here is so that I can dig this into a stump and I can feather. I can just pull back and feather sticks with it. Obviously I have the ferro rod striker there, and the finger notch hole here, and the thumb sits up here, and that just allows you to get a really good choke on it and do some fine work. And although this takes really big chunks out of wood, it is really nice to just do some really delicate fine work as well. I've tried it at home in the shed. So I tell you what, how about we find a bit of wood, and I'll get some paracord and make a lanyard for this thing, and then we'll get into a bit of a strength test. Alright, let's go for this one here. Okay, so we got that off. Now what I'm going to try and do is to just put this stick down into a point. Now I would hazard a guess that is a fairly good tent peg. Alright, now I'm going to get a smaller bit and see if I can feather it. Alright guys, that's pretty much all that I was going to do out here. Just give it a bit of a test. That baton, the wood that I was batoning is quite hard. It was bloody hard wood, so I'm quite impressed with that. But the real test now is to go back to the man cave, and we'll do a paper test to see if it's retained its edge. Let's hope it has. Alright guys, it's next day, as you can probably tell by my getup. I came back to the same spot that I was at yesterday. These cicadas are deafening. It's so noisy out here, hence why I've got the microphone on. It just makes it sound so much better. I tried to finish it off last night in the man cave, but I tried taking photos of the knife and the lighting was absolutely rubbish. So I've decided to come back out. One, it gets me back out into the bush, which, you know, I'm not too far from a road, but, you know, I'm still outdoors, and that was the whole aim of it. So we're back out here, and you can see some of this beautiful country that we live in as well. So yeah, I'm back out, and I've done a bit of reflection on the video from yesterday. So just to go over a few things. That wood that I batoned yesterday was hardwood, and although it did not a bad job of getting through it, because the blade is very thin, it took a lot more effort because it wasn't splitting it as it went. A lot thicker blade would have just split that open. So not to worry. I did get a couple of hot spots from the handle, but because I haven't been really hands-on a lot for the last few years, my hands are baby hands. I've got to toughen them up again. So yeah, these are the things that I'll have to deal with, but you know, it is what it is. In regards to the lanyard, I did end up tightening that up a bit, so it fits nice and tight on my hand when I'm holding that now. Yesterday it was a little bit loose, and I probably should have tightened it up then. You gotta be so careful with sharp blades. I remember watching a video of Funky Preppers where he was out with his go-lock. He didn't obviously show what the actual event happening, but he sliced his leg open with his go-lock. So they can be very, very dangerous. So you got to be really careful and make sure you take the safety precautions with a very sharp blade. I did end up buying a little lens kit as well for my camera. So it's got a micro lens, a wide angle, and a fisheye lens, and it comes with a little torch. It's a little pack. I'll probably do a little review on it because it's actually a really good kit, especially if you're wanting to do YouTube videos and you're only using a phone. So yeah, I might do a little bit of a review on that later. So after all the abuse that this copped yesterday, I was very interested to see whether or not it held its edge. I did end up going over to Dane's house last night to see his knife collection that he's quite proud of, I might add. And I was a little bit in awe because he's got quite a bit of stuff there. Once we got there, we cleaned up the blade a little bit. It had a bit of gunk on it from batoning. So we cleaned that off and we give it just a little bit of a strop. That was all we did. And I'll grab a bit of paper and we'll see how well it's retained that edge. All right. I can guarantee you that what you're about to see is exactly the way it was when I first sharpened this thing. So here we go. We'll get a bit closer for you. And all the way to the very tip. So that's pretty much how sharp she is. All the way. So fine. So I'm extremely happy with that. I'll pick up the paper later. So this is one more step closer to being able to go out and do overnighters. Confidence in the tool. I'm perfectly confident that I can procure wood and perform small tasks with this knife, and larger tasks as well. I'm not going to go hacking down trees. I will probably get an axe for that, if I make one, which would be awesome. I mean, I made a knife, so I might ever go at forging an axe, or I'll just buy a really lightweight, nice axe to procure larger stuff. So all in all, I'm super duper impressed with my efforts. I thank you all, the people that had something to do with this knife. You guys have been absolutely fantastic and so giving as well, with the use of machinery to gifts. You know, you guys have been absolutely fantastic, and I can't thank you enough. It's a great community to be in. You know, your prepper community can go one of two ways. You can get people that are really helpful and love to contribute and whatnot, or you can just get the real diehards that just like to keep to themselves and not be too friendly and all that sort of stuff. But I've really met a whole bunch of really nice people, and I just can't wait to meet more and to get out here more and start doing a lot of stuff. So guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your support as well, to all my subscribers and viewers. It was an absolute joy to make this thing, and for you to come along on this journey and watch me do it. There were mistakes, there's a lot of mistakes, but I've learned from those. I hope until the next time, I do plan on making a companion blade for this. So until the next video, guys, again, thank you. I just can't thank you all enough. Thank you, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, I post my videos up on Facebook, on a number of different prepper channels, QMac, and the blacksmith and knife making page on Facebook as well. So until the next video, guys, I'll see you then.